The world is full of BBLs. It's also full of BBCs. But you know what it's not full of? BBBs. Books, blush, and brain rot. So that's why I'm here. Every week, I come on here and I dissect a book that I've just finished from top to bottom. I go through the whole storyline. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. I spoil the whole fucking book for you. And I talk about my thoughts and feelings on the storyline. Let's get fucking started. I need to think of something else to say rather than let's get started, because I just feel like that's very cliche, but we'll work on it. So this week I read Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Now I would like to start this off by saying that the only other Freida McFadden book that I have read is The Housemaid, just the original one. Yes, if we could do Quiet on Set. Anyways, I liked The Housemaid. I liked the ending. I did not guess the ending at all. I could have never guessed that ending, honestly. The way that Freida McFadden, now reading 2 of her books, she puts you on a very solid point of, I'm going to bring you on this journey and give you all of these little clues, these little mind games with you to make you think that you're gonna know what happens, but you don't. Brief pause while we fan. Never Lie opens with our main character Trisha and her husband Ethan. They met and then 9 months later they were married. They are looking for houses with the help of their real estate agent Judy, and they're in the middle of a snowstorm. They're driving, they have lost cell phone service. Brief pause while Gus adjusts himself. Trisha seems very soft-spoken, timid, a little bit afraid of upsetting Ethan. They pull up at this huge estate, basically have to walk 15 minutes through the fucking snow. Ethan is like this superhero gentleman of a boyfriend, and he's like, oh, I'll give you a piggyback ride, because she's wearing some like really fucking expensive boots. So they go up to this house and it's this like very secluded, huge mansion. It does make Trisha kind of nervous because she's like, I don't know if I really want to live like out here in the middle of nowhere. Like it's kind of scary. Jumping backwards for a second, I think the very first chapter is from Adrienne Hale. So Adrienne Hale is a psychiatrist. It's one of the main characters. And one of her very first chapters, she's basically saying how she knows when people are lying to her. And the book is called Never Lie. The very last chapter of chapter 1, she writes, never lie to me, because she will know when you're lying. Keeping that in mind. Trisha and Ethan at this estate. Now, Ethan seems very well-tempered, very patient, very not afraid or intimidated by a goddamn thing. So even though they're in the middle of nowhere, even though they've now hiked 15 minutes through the snowstorm to get to this house, and even though they haven't heard from their real estate agent, Judy, they start looking for keys, because he's like, well, let's just go into the house anyways. Like, Judy knows we're coming. This house is about to be for sale on her website. Like, we might as well just explore it while we're here, you know, because it's also freezing cold. We're not gonna be able to leave. Like, might as well just, you know, go inside. Go inside, and right off the bat, Trisha gets really uncomfortable because Dr. Hale, Adrienne, the one that says never lie to me in the very beginning, it's her old house, and she has this huge fucking portrait of herself over the mantle. And it's like a little intimidating and scary. Pause while we fan. I thought it died. Adrienne Hale has gone missing. She's been missing for years. And at least 3 years, I believe it says. Just like, it's just creepy being here because she used to live here and this is her house, and now it's like her portrait is here and she's staring at us, and it's just weird, and Judy's nowhere to be found. Like, why isn't she here yet? And they also had noticed before they entered the house that there was a light on in the upstairs window. Ethan, her husband, is like, oh, well, it's probably Judy. And Trisha's like, why would it be Judy? Why would a real estate agent who's showing a house be upstairs? Like, why wouldn't she have all of the lights on, all the windows on? Why would she only have an upstairs random window on? And of course, the light shuts off. The whole first night is just them two finding something to eat. There's fresh cold cuts in the fridge. All of these little inconsistencies in a house that's been on the market make Trisha very uncomfortable. Asking her husband, why would there be fresh cold cuts in the fridge and fresh condiments in the fridge? There's a half-drunken glass of water that's condensating on the sink. Like, someone was just here drinking this. Why was the upstairs light on? And Ethan is very like nonchalant. Keeps saying, it was probably just Judy. It was probably just Judy. And she's like, if he says it was just Judy one more fucking time, I'm gonna kill him. We're getting Trisha's point of view of her and Ethan being in this house, kind of going through the house. We're also flipping back and forth and seeing Adrienne's point of view. So Adrienne, aka Dr. Hale, aka the house of the woman, the house that the Ethan and Trisha are touring right now. And we're getting like some backstory on her. So she's a psychiatrist, intimacy issues, single. She lives in this huge estate by herself. She seems, it's hard. I want to say callous. In the first couple chapters, she fires her agent, Paige, her literary agent, Paige, because she's also in the process of publishing her second book. Her first book, it was on the New York Times bestseller list for like a long time and it did really well. And she's writing these books based off of her patients' consent, and like she's using her patients' stories to kind of teach people about the human mind. Paige is very unattentive to Adrian, and Adrian does fire her. Paige kind of seems just like a, you know, a young literary agent. She's married, she has kids, she's just trying to make a living, and she's just trying to be friends with Adrian, but Adrian doesn't do friends. And I think that Freida McFadden very much wrote Adrian as a psychiatrist, like what I would imagine a psychiatrist to be like, because I feel like in order to be in a job like that, in a field like that, you kind of have to be very cold and cut off to the world in some aspects, because like almost like very neutralized to things and people's feelings. Otherwise, how would you be good at what you do? Does that make sense? I don't think that she sounds like, at first, a bad person. I think that she sounds like a great psychiatrist and someone that's very dedicated to her line of work, which is amazing. Paige comes over and she's got these high heels on. She's on her phone all the time. And yes, you can't do that or I'll kick you out. You can be handsome and you can sit next to me. She's already not happy with Paige just in general. But then Paige makes a comment about her clients. Please hold, I lost my eyeliner. Adrian kind of makes a comment like, you know, in her internal monologue, she's saying that Paige has made a lot of questionable comments because Adrian likes things the way that Adrian likes things. She likes to be single. She likes to live alone. She lives in this big, huge estate because she likes it. You know, she doesn't want to fill it with kids. She doesn't want anybody. She just wants to be by herself. And I think that that's, for someone that's as dedicated to her work as she is, I think that that's completely understandable. And Paige just doesn't really get it. She makes comments about how her husband has single friends that she should, you know, try to get to know someday. She makes comments about how she needs a security system. And then she does cross the line because she says to Adrian something along the lines of, your patients are crazy. And Adrian doesn't like that. Paige was dropping off the proof of her new book. Her new book is called The Anatomy of Fear, about the human mind and how fear kind of controls it. Initials throughout the whole book are PL, this client of hers that The Anatomy of Fear is based off of. We will get back into that in a second. Adrian fires Paige, find out that she's been volunteering at this free clinic. And the clinic is to help psychiatric people get the help that they need. And she volunteers her spare time. She meets a guy there named Luke. He's like a techie guy who's there to help transfer all of their paper files into electronic files. In my brain, he kind of looks like Mark Ruffalo. They flirt. She ends up liking him. Going backwards again for a second. On her way to the clinic one day, she's late. Dr. Hale, Adrian. Adrian's late to the clinic and very passionate about her work and her clients, okay? There's like no parking when she gets there. Trying to remain calm, but she's getting annoyed. I need to be here for my first patient. Her first patient is someone I think she says with schizophrenia, and she wants to see how the medication is doing that she prescribed. This is in like a strip mall, and it's really busy, and there's all these cars everywhere. So she finally finds a parking spot. She puts her signal on, her blinker on, to indicate that she's about to turn into the spot, and this red Jetta comes out of nowhere and cuts her off and gets into the spot before she can. She's fucking pissed off. She's like, I can't believe this. I have to get to my client. And I literally was signaling. Guy kind of just to her and walks off. She has like a brief moment of like, I could literally just slam on my fucking accelerator and kill him, but she doesn't do that. Calmly waits, finds another spot. She is in fact late for her first client, but then the front desk lady, Gloria, is like, oh, well, he canceled. And she's like, okay. I'm gonna leave Dr. Hill there for a second. We're gonna go back to Ethan and Trisha. We find out that Ethan apparently has a lot of red flags that Trisha's friends and family have pointed out to her. And it seems like none of them were super supportive of them being together and being married because of all of these red flags that they're seeing in him. But Trisha's like, I'm in love with him. Like, when we get glimpses of Ethan being weird, he takes care of her. So everything is under his control. Trisha, we find out, isn't working right now. Wants to maybe look for work, but at the same time, we also find out her big secret is that she's pregnant. Mortified to tell Ethan because her and Ethan agreed that they wouldn't have kids for at least 2 to 3 years after getting married. So she's terrified to tell her husband. I'm thinking it's odd that she's ignoring all these red flags that her friends and family are pointing out, but then she's still going to sit there and be terrified to tell her own husband something. That's strange to me. And Ethan runs a startup company, like the CEO of a small startup company. They like don't have to worry about money, and he has told her that multiple times in the book. Like, makes all the meals for her, he does all the heavy lifting for her, he kind of babies her. Trisha does end up eventually telling him like, hey, I am pregnant. He's not mad at all. He's like, oh, I thought you wanted to wait, so I was just going along with what you wanted. And she's like, no, like I thought you wanted to wait. And it's like, oh my god, you guys are gross, like stop. They end up stuck in this house for a good minute, right? Like over a weekend. Ethan brings his laptop and he's able to do some work. Trisha does some work too. What does she do? She discovers the private hidden room in Dr. Hale's. Underneath her spiral staircase, there's a hidden room because she's looking for a book to read. She finds The Shining, a classic. She goes to grab it. Oh my god, it unlocks a hidden room. The hidden room is where Dr. Hale has stored all of her tapes of her and her patients, right? Back to Dr. Hale for a second. She did ask consent before taping all of her patients' sessions, but some of them said no, and she taped them anyway. So she has every single session that she's ever done recorded on tape. I'm sorry that I just got that close to the camera. I just had to check my eyelid. Now, this is the part where Freida McFadden places something in our little brains that makes us think that the book is going to go somewhere that it didn't go. She sees all these tapes, and they're coded. So every patient has their initials and then the dates, and then it looks like the last session is always in red. She sees EJ, and EJ has a bunch of fucking tapes, and then he has one red one, and then he has a few more black ones after. And she's like, wait, so he had a final session and then he came back? So she grabs a couple of those. She also grabs PL. Now PL, we find out, is the girl who The Anatomy of Fear is written about. Remember the book I talked about in the beginning that Paige brought her the proof of because it was about to be published? She grabs PL and she grabs EJ. She then spends the next few days, like while Ethan is kind of just distracted with work, she spends the next few days listening to the tapes. And she keeps mentioning that if Ethan found out she was listening to the tapes, that he would be pissed at her. Specifically listening to, there's PL, there's EJ, and then there's one that starts with a G. I forgot the last name. Like I said, PL is the girl who The Anatomy of Fear is kind of based off of. It's like the biggest part of the book is this story that happens with this client, PL. So PL turns out to be a young girl who was on a trip to a cabin in the woods with her fiance and her two best friends. In the middle of the night, she wakes up, there's a man standing over her. He has stabbed and killed her fiance, her two best friends. He's also tried to kill her, but it didn't work. So she just pretended to be dead, and then he got away. She has this terrible case of PTSD, and her mom pays top dollar so that she can go to Dr. Hale to help her with this PTSD, right? And Trisha also gets these weird moments. So there's one moment where they're having dinner because they decide that they're spending the night the first night because they obviously can't get out. Ethan takes down the portrait of Dr. Hale because it's just staring at them, and Trisha's like, it's freaking me the fuck out, please take it down. In the middle of the night, Trisha hears something. She gets up, she starts to wander around the house, and she notices that the portrait has been put back up. After she hears a crash, she notices that the portrait has been put back up. She goes back to Ethan and she goes, why is a portrait on the wall? There's someone in the house. She's freaking the hell out. And Ethan starts to get annoyed with her. He's like, I put it back up, Trisha. Like we said, we put everything back up the way that we found it. At one point, Ethan did go downstairs to get her water. So she's like, well, maybe that's when he put it back up. In the morning, the portrait is back down. So then she's like, that's so sweet of my husband. He put the portrait back down because he knew that it would irritate me in the morning. She mentions that to Ethan. He says, no, I didn't. He says, I told you that I took it down. Like you saw me take it down at dinner. I didn't put it back up. And now she's like, oh my fucking God, I'm losing my mind. Now we have portraits moving. The light upstairs was on. There's fresh cold cuts in the fridge. There was that half drunken glass of water with condensation still on it. She's like, someone else is in the house. I just know it. At one point, she goes into the attic because she is being nosy. And Ethan also criticizes her a lot for being nosy, by the way. Which again, it's like, she's a girl. Like, we're literally just girls. Also sees a sleeping bag. And she notices that the entirety of everything in the attic is covered in like a thick layer of dust except for the sleeping bag. The sleeping bag looks brand new. Well, maybe there's like a squatter here. Starts listening to the tapes of EJ now. Going back, I said Freida McFadden likes to put little thoughts in her head to make us think that things are going to be something that they're truly not. And this is what I'm talking about. Trisha's listening to tapes with someone named EJ. EJ is a young man diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He obviously has some weird hyperfixation with Dr. Hale. His mom has told Dr. Hale she is no longer going to pay for his sessions because she does not think that they are working. He's not getting better. He's telling Dr. Hale he is getting better. He has a very pompous and smug and arrogant attitude, like obsessed with Dr. Hale. Trisha says that his voice sounds eerily familiar. Like, there's no fucking way that Ethan E is going to be EJ. There's no way. I'm like, that is way too fucking obvious, right? But that's where my head kept going. Maybe, like it could be, I don't know. It could have been. I'm thinking that that's what is going to be the big thing. Like EJ is going to turn out to be Ethan, or they're going to be related somehow. She's also listening to the tapes of PL, the girl who had gone through that traumatic event, right? Her friends and her fiance had gotten stabbed in the middle of the woods right before her wedding. One of the tapes that Trisha listens to is the one where she pretty much, it's been like a year or so. She tells Dr. Hale that she's moving and that her mom wanted to thank her, so she commissioned an artist, and is who the portrait was from. Dr. Hale has over her mantelpiece, which I thought was a interesting tie-up of like where the portrait came from. Tells Dr. Hale I'm moving, like, you know, thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. My mom and I wanted to, or my mom insisted on giving you this gift because, you know, you've done so much for us. You don't have to hang it up. I know it's pretty gaudy, it's huge. Dr. Hale's like, no, I'm gonna hang it up. Adrian starts dating Luke, the tech guy that I talked about in the beginning. She commissions him to come to her house, come to her estate, and put up a security system. Why does she want a security system? After telling people for years and years and years that she don't want it? Well, she wants a security system because this client, EJ, she told him, hey, I'm not gonna be able to continue our sessions anymore because your mom's not gonna pay for them, and I know you're not gonna pay for them. And he was like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm getting better with you. And she's like, I don't think that you are, and neither does your mom. He gets a little upset, starts stalking her and blackmailing her with a video that could ruin her whole career. If you remember in the beginning, we talked about how the guy in the Jetta took her parking spot that day. EJ was stalking her. He has a video of her going up to the Jetta and slashing his tires. Well, only one of them. That is how the relationship with EJ and Dr. Hale continues. She does have that last tape where like it was supposed to be their last time ever talking, and like thought she was done, and then he kept showing up at her door and blackmailing her into having more sessions with him, and she was like fucking great. She then goes to Luke. She says, hey, please can you install the security system for me? Like, I never wanted one, never thought I needed one. Now I do. He goes, okay, fine. It took a little convincing, but they find out that they both like each other. They end up sleeping together. They end up starting this like really sweet relationship, but then EJ comes in and ruins it all. He starts showing up at her door like in the middle of the night and shit. And again, I'm still thinking EJ is Ethan, so I'm like, oh, so weird, you know? Because of the video, all she has to do is keep seeing EJ as a client. That's all he wants. Until that's not all he wants. She convinces Luke, her now boyfriend. She says, I need your help. Basically, they together drug EJ at one of her sessions. They leave out a bottle of wine, and EJ is like a wine connoisseur. That's the other thing. EJ and Ethan both really liked wine. Puts a bunch of sleeping pills in the wine. He passes out. Luke, again, very reluctant to do this, by the way, because he was arrested in the past for hacking when he was a kid, and he promised himself that he would never do it again because his parents got him off. I liked Luke. Luke was probably honestly my favorite character in this whole book. Luke breaks into his house, gets rid of all traces of the video, tells Adrian, look, there's a chance that there might be more copies of this video. And she's like, I don't care. I want it off his phone. I want it out of his computer. And then she also tells him, don't fucking watch it. She's a very renowned psychiatrist, and she's just now let this man into her life for the first time in a long time, or ever, that she's had a relationship. So she doesn't want him to think that she's a bad person, you know? Go through with this plan. They get rid of the video. EJ obviously finds out. He's pissed. She doesn't hear from him for a while. And then all of a sudden he's back. Because now, not only does he still have the video, but he also has a new video of Luke breaking into the house, rummaging through all his stuff, and hacking into his computer. So she's like, fuck, now he's gonna ruin Luke and he's gonna ruin me. He wants to like bang Adrian pretty much. He like tells her straight up, he's like, yeah, so this is the only thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna bang, and that's it. And that's the only way you can save this. And you're gonna keep having your sessions with me. And she's like, oh my God, you're so irritating. Turns around to Luke and she's like, this is the situation. Like, I don't really know what to do. And he gets pissed off. I mean, rightfully so. Like, he really didn't want to do that. He didn't want to get dragged in. Now it's like this whole thing, and this man is like after both of them, and he's crazy. Can't really go to the police because then she'll probably get arrested, and like it'll hit the news that she slashed that guy's tires. So it ends up in this big fight, and Luke had just started to like move into the house, and that was like a really big step for Adrian too, because she was very hesitant about even letting him spend the night the first few times that they were together, because she just has a weird intimacy issues, you know. She's very closed off from the world and from society, and that's why she lives in this huge house by herself. And she finds this like trustworthy guy, and she's really happy, but of course something bad happens to her. Her and Luke get into a fight, and Luke storms out, you know. He's like, I can't, because basically Adrian tells him, hey, so this is the situation, and it looks like the only way that I am going to be able to stop this from happening is if I fucking murk the guy. Luke is like, yeah, so no, you know, I'm not gonna do that. So he leaves. Dr. Hale takes matters into her own hands, and this is the part where Trisha is listening to a tape from PL, who is the girl with the cabin story, and she listens to the final tape of PL, which is the tape where Dr. Hale calls her out for being the actual murderer in that story. So let me say that again. The whole time we're reading this book, we're getting these accounts from a girl named PL and Dr. Hale. Their therapy sessions. PL is traumatized. She's going through severe PTSD. She has this guilt, this survivor's guilt. She's the only one that survived. Her two best friends, her fiance, she can't believe it. But now she's finally healed, yada, yada, yada. And in the last session, Dr. Hale pretty much says, hey, so I know that you killed them, and I need a favor. So if you remember in the beginning, Dr. Hale says, never lie to me, because I'll be able to know if you're fucking lying to me. PL lied from the very beginning. Dr. Hale is blackmailing PL, and she says, you know, you killed someone, so now I need you to kill someone else. The biggest plot twist of the whole book happens. Guess who PL is? It's Trisha. P stands for Patricia. Let's go back. This girl that is with this guy, Ethan, is not this like timid, not able to do things for herself girl at all. She is a girl who found out that her fiance was cheating on her with her best friend. So she invited them and another friend as like a, I don't want this to be too obvious, friend out to a cabin the night before their wedding. And she killed all of them. And that person is Trisha, our main character, who is now pregnant with this boy Ethan's baby. Like, Dr. Hale has Patricia get EJ, flirt with him and get him home from the club, which she does, drugs him, gets him home from the club, brings him back to Dr. Hale's house. Dr. Hale and her tie him up, and Trisha leaves. Dr. Hale remembered that the house came with like floorboards that come up. She lifts the floorboards up and she pretty much just dumps his body in there. EJ, her stalker, tapes the cracks so he dies from suffocation. Basically buried alive in her house. She deals with the smell for a while. Luke ends up coming back into her life. She and him have a date, a little reunion date that they're going to go on. So going back for a second, Trisha and Ethan find a body, and they assume it's Dr. Hale's body, but you can't really tell because it's so decomposed. But he's wearing blue jeans, and Dr. Hale, from all of the descriptions we've gotten, would never, she doesn't even own blue jeans. The whole book, it like keeps referring to the fact that she's probably dead and she is missing. Find this body, they're freaking the fuck out. And then at the same time, they find out that there is in fact someone that's been staying at the house, and it's Luke, Adrian, Dr. Hale's boyfriend. And he's like looking like a bum. He's been sleeping in the attic because it's so cold. He has nowhere else to go. He doesn't know what happened to Adrian. He's lost without her. He's so upset. Trisha and Ethan decide that they're going to tie him up. This is a part where I was like, so these two motherfuckers are going to just casually duct tape this guy's ankles together and his feet together and like just be fine with that? Like, that's so weird. Casually tie Luke up because they don't trust him. They don't know who it is. She and Trisha ends up finding out who it is. He's like, I know that's not Adrian. I have a pretty good idea of who it is. And Trisha's like, yeah, me too. Trisha wanted Dr. Hale to tell her where the body was because she was getting paranoid that they would find the body of EJ and it would somehow lead back to her because there's cameras at the casino club where she had picked EJ up that night. Dr. Hale didn't want to tell her, so Patricia ends up killing Dr. Hale. She kills her and she buries her miles and miles away from the house where no one's ever going to find her. Trisha sets up this whole thing, paid for a plow company to come out like 3 days after they'd been at the house so that they wouldn't be stuck there forever. But she pretty much organized the whole thing so that she could look around the house and find the body because Dr. Hale had like given a tell that made Trisha realize like, oh, the body's in the house. That's why they ended up there. But obviously her man doesn't know that. Patricia, the killer, decides to tell Ethan, like, hey, all the things that I did, and sorry, like, I feel like you need to know. And he doesn't even, like, bat an eye. He's pretty much like, I also killed my mom. He killed his mom because he wanted the insurance money. His mom was one of Dr. Hale's patients who had all these, like, paranoid delusions that her son was trying to kill her and people were coming after her. So he pushed her down the stairs and got away with it, and then got the insurance money, and that's why he has so much money. So they both did fucked up shit. The end of the book is pretty much them deciding that they're gonna buy the house. Trisha is like, I really came here because I really needed to find the body because I don't want to ever get caught for this crime. That now that they found it, they got rid of it. They also decided that they're gonna get rid of Luke. They pretty much live happily ever after. They have their kid, they're pregnant with another one, they bury Luke, they kill Luke, and then they bury him in the backyard along with EJ. So that got rid of Trisha's problem. Nobody ever found Dr. Hale's body. And we end the book with this like monologue of Trisha's thinking, pretty much being like, I love my husband so much. Like, he's so amazing. He's so great with my kid, but he knows too much. And, you know, that's fine because if I need to, I'll just get rid of him too. Which is a crazy fucking bitch. The one thing I'll say is kind of like with The Housemaid, I almost felt like my brain was ready for something like really crazy. Like, it was pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie and say it wasn't crazy, but I almost wanted something more. There were some parts that were a little repetitive. Our major twists are what? Trisha is actually Patricia, who's actually one of Dr. Hale's most successful, most famous clients, because she writes about her in her newest book that gets published right before her disappearance. And then you have EJ, who blackmailed Dr. Hale and her boyfriend Luke and forced Dr. Hale to a point where she felt she had to kill him to get rid of him and to save her and her boyfriend Luke's, you know, careers and lives. Patricia is a killer. She killed 4 people. We also found out she killed someone in high school for like cheating on her or being with her boyfriend or something. And so she's killed multiple people. And then her boyfriend Ethan killed another one of Dr. Hale's patients who was his mom because she was crazy and didn't like him and he wanted the insurance money. It's just like, it was very much, the story was very good. I liked the way that it unfolded. I think there was still something missing for me. I don't know what. I can't explain what it was. I think that there was just something more that I wanted from it. It fell a little bit short. The twists were shocking, but it still fell short for me. I can't put to words. Well, I think I just wanted it to be more crazy. Like, I wanted Dr. Hale to show up out of nowhere and be like, oh, by the way, I'm not fucking dead. Or, you know, I wanted Ethan, EJ to be like also related. Like, I wanted something else to happen that was like, I was waiting for the next big moment, but it didn't happen. That was my Books, Blush, and Brain Rot of the week. Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Next week for another BBB, Book, Blush, and Brain Rot.